Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a really fascinating case file from the Moroccan crime storyteller Abdelkader Karaz.
hmm
And on the surface, this thing looks like a pretty standard police procedural. You've got a break-in at a villa, a distraught homeowner, missing valuables.
Right.
But our mission today is to dig a lot deeper than just, whodunit.
That's right. Because this isn't really a story about a burglary at all. It's a story about the psychology of the perfect crime that isn't.
Yes.
It's about the tiny forensic mistakes that unravel a huge lie. And ultimately, it's about a financial scam that forced a totally ordinary person to do something unthinkable.
So we're going to be unpacking two main things here. One, the forensic aha moments that exposed the lie, and there's a very greasy piece of evidence involved.
Here is.
And two, the economic trap itself, this thing called taswik al-harami, or pyramid schemes, which is really the engine driving this whole tragedy.
It's a perfect case study in how one bad decision can just spiral into total catastrophic destruction.
Okay, so let's set the stage. We're in a pretty respectable neighborhood in Morocco. We're talking about an area where government officials, gendarmerie, this is where they live.
It's safe, quiet, stable.
And our central figure is a retired teacher. She served for 21 years in education. She's living in a nice villa.
And that profile is so important. She's not someone you'd ever associate with, the criminal underworld. She has a pension status. Her husband provides a very comfortable life.
Right, let's talk about the husband. The source material really emphasizes this. He's an international truck driver. He's hauling goods from Agadir all the way up to Spain, across Europe.
Which means he is basically a ghost in his own house for long stretches of time. He's gone for 6, 10, sometimes 15 days at a pop.
That's a lonely life for the partner left behind, I'd imagine, but it also creates this massive operational window.
A huge one.
If you're going to do something shady, or if someone is going to target your home, those 15-day windows are prime real estate.
Exactly. It leaves the wife alone with their kids and a housekeeper. It creates a vacuum. And as we're about to see, scammers, well, they abhor a vacuum.
So let's cut to the incident. The wife reports that she went to stay at her sister's house, just a short visit. When she comes back, the villa has been hit.
She claims thieves broke in, smashed a window, and just ransacked the place.
And the damage report is pretty substantial. She says a metal box is missing.
And inside that box was her jewelry, gold, mostly, and a significant amount of cash. The report says about 6 million centimes.
Okay, we need to pause on the math here, because the source uses a mix of currencies, centimes, rials, francs. It can get really confusing if you're not a local.
Good catch.
Ah.
So in Morocco, people often talk in centimes or reals for day-to-day stuff, even though the official currency is the dirham.
Right.
To kind of translate for everyone listening, 1 million centimes is 10,000 dirhams. And that's roughly, $1,000 US or euros.
So she reported 6 million centimes missing. That's about $6,000 in US dollars, in cash.
Roughly, yeah. Plus all the jewelry.
Yeah.
For a retired teacher and a truck driver, that is a massive chunk of their savings. It's a life-altering amount of money to just vanish overnight.
So the police arrive. Crime scene investigation is on the scene. And initially, it looks like your standard smash and grab.
Broken window, drawers pulled out, clothes on the floor. Looks legit.
But then the investigators start noticing things that just feel off.
And this is where forensic psychology really kicks in. It's a concept called staging. When a real burglar tosses a room, it's frantic. It's violent.
Sure.
They dump drawers because they're in a hurry and they could not care less about your property. They want the gold and they're gone.
But in this villa, the chaos was weirdly polite.
Laugh softly. That's the perfect way to put it. Polite chaos.
It's strange.
In the kitchen, for example, the pots and pans weren't thrown across the room. They were placed carefully on the floor.
No way.
The glass cups were taken out of the cupboard and set down gently.
See, that's such a tell. If I'm a thief, I am not worried about chipping your teacups.
Not at all.
I'm grabbing valuables and getting out before the cops show up.
Exactly. That care, that gentleness, it's a subconscious behavior.
Yeah.
It suggests the person doing the ransacking actually owns the stuff and doesn't want to break it.
It's the performance of a robbery.
Yes, they want the visual of a robbery, but they don't want the actual financial cost of replacing their entire kitchen.
That's fascinating. It's like she's directing a movie scene, but she can't bring herself to actually destroy the set.
And then we get to the physical evidence, or, the lack of it. The entry point was a garden window. The lock was forced. So the forensic team dusts everything for fingerprints.
And here's the kicker. they find prints.
Oh, yeah, lots of them.
But they all belong to the wife.
Every single one.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. If I'm a professional thief, I'm wearing gloves, right?
Right.
So just because there are no foreign prints, does that automatically prove the homeowner did it?
That's the classic defense. Yeah, thieves wear gloves. But here's the nuance. Forensics isn't just about finding prints. It's about where they are.
Okay.
If a thief wears gloves, you often find smudges or maybe glove impressions in the dust. You might find shoe prints in the garden soil outside, tool marks that don't match anything in the house.
And here?
Here, you have a broken lock, where the only prints on the mechanism, the parts you actually have to touch to break it, are the wife's.
Oh!
No glove smudges, no foreign shoe prints on the sill. It's like a ghost broke in or...
The person who lives there did it.
Exactly.
That's a huge logic gap. But the police didn't arrest her right there, did they? They needed more.
No, and this is just good police work. You don't accuse a victim, especially a respectable retired teacher, without a smoking gun. So they started canvassing the neighborhood.
Looking for what? Suspicious cars?
Not just that, they were looking for behavioral anomalies, anything weird.
And they found a neighbor who had a very interesting story.
They did. This neighbor tells the police that the day before the supposed robbery, the wife came to his door.
Okay.
She asked to borrow a specific tool. She wanted a pair of pliers or a pince.
A pince. In this context, we're talking about a heavy-duty tool, not like eyebrow tweezers.
No, we're talking about a heavy iron tool, like for mechanics or heavy lifting. The neighbor didn't have one, so he pointed her towards a nearby tire repair shop.
Okay, so borrowing a tool isn't a crime. Maybe she had a leaky pipe or something.
True, but the investigators followed that trail. They went to the tire shop owner, and he confirms it. Yes, she came here. She borrowed a massive tire iron, the kind you use to pry tires off rims.
Wow.
And she brought it back a while later.
And this is where the whole thing just snaps shut. Because a tire iron from a mechanic's shop is not clean.
It is filthy. It's covered in that thick, industrial black grease, the kind that gets on everything and doesn't wash off.
I think I see where this is going. The window frame.
The window frame.
Huh.
The villa's windows were painted this light color, sort of a mustard or khaki. When the forensic team went back to look at the break-in point, they found these specific smears of black industrial grease embedded right there in the wood where the lock was forced open.
Wow. So the grease literally transferred from the tire shop to the tool, to her hand, to the window frame. That is undeniable.
It's a physical receipt. It places that specific tool from that specific shop in her hand at the exact point of the break-in. There is no way a random burglar shows up with a borrowed tire iron from down the street that the homeowner just happened to touch earlier. The odds are 0.
So the perfect crime just falls apart because she didn't wipe down the tool.
And because she improvised. That's the thing about amateurs. They focus on the big picture, I need a broken window, but they ignore the microscopic details that forensics absolutely thrive on.
So they bring her in for questioning. They separate her from her sister, who was trying to back her up, and they just lay it all out. We found the grease. We know about the tire iron.
And the whole facade just crumbles. Instantly, she confesses.
Admits everything.
Everything. Admits there was no burglar. She staged the whole thing. She ransacked her own bedroom, politely, as we noted, and she broke her own window.
But this isn't a case of insurance fraud, right? She wasn't trying to get a payout from a company.
No. And that's what makes this so tragic. The motive was just fear. She was terrified of her husband finding out that the money box was already empty.
So the money was gone before the robbery.
Long gone. And the jewelry, too. She'd already sold most of it.
Which brings us to the second half of this deep dive. The why. Why would a retired teacher with a pension and a stable life burn through her family's entire life savings?
The answer is Taswik al-Harami, the pyramid scheme.
The source describes a setup that is, it's a classic of the genre. A friend approaches her about a French company operating in Morocco.
And notice the friend part. That's crucial. This is what we call affinity fraud.
Right.
You don't trust the stranger in the suit. You trust your neighbor, your cousin who introduces them. It just lowers all your defenses.
And the pitch is so seductive. Invest 1 million centimes, that's about $1,000, and get a monthly return of 100,000 francs.
Let's just do the math on that. That is a 10% monthly return.
That's insane.
In the legitimate financial world, that does not exist. The stock market might give you 8 to 10% a year if you're lucky. A guaranteed 10% a month. That is a mathematical impossibility unless you are paying old investors with new investors' money.
It's Ponzi 101. But to someone who isn't financially literate or who just sees the cash, it must look like a miracle.
And the scammers are so smart. They don't just ask for money, they give some back at first. She invested, and for the first month or two, she actually got paid.
Oh, that's the hook.
That's the hook.
It validates the scam. She's holding the cash thinking, this is real?
Exactly. It bypasses all critical thinking. And that confidence makes her vulnerable to the upsell. The so-called director of this fake company actually came to her villa.
That is so bold. Her husband is off driving trucks in Europe, and this scam artist is sitting in her living room drinking her tea.
It's predatory. They identified her as a whale, someone with access to savings and status. And they told her, look, you're doing great, but if you increase your investment, or even better, bring in 10 new women, you can stop paying fees and just collect pure profit.
The recruitment trap. This is where the victim becomes the perpetrator.
It's the defining feature of a pyramid scheme. To survive, you have to feed the beast. She invested a total of 4 million centimes, around $4,000, but worse, she recruited 4 other women.
Friends, neighbors.
And likely members of her DART.
Okay, we should probably unpack that term for our listeners. What is a DART?
A DART is a traditional rotating savings club. You see it in Morocco and many other cultures. A group of women pool money every single month, and one person takes the whole pot.
It's built on trust.
100% on reputation and trust.
Yeah.
It's the social safety net.
So when she recruits these women into the scam, she isn't just introducing them to a business, she's weaponizing that deep cultural trust.
Precisely. And that's why the collapse is so violent. When the French company inevitably disappeared, phones dead, office empty, director gone, those women didn't go looking for the director. They came for her.
Of course. They know where she lives. She's the one who vouched for it.
She was in a pressure cooker. The other women were at her door demanding their money back. She was terrified her husband would return and find out she'd lost everything.
So what did she do?
To put out the fire, she sold her jewelry. She drained what was left of their savings. She paid off the other women just to silence them.
She's robbing Peter to pay Paul, but Peter is her husband. And by the time he's due back from Europe, the box is completely empty.
And she panics. She thinks, if I say we were robbed, my husband will be angry, but he'll forgive me. We'll be victims together. But if I admit I gave our savings to a con artist and hosted him in our living room, that's unforgivable.
So she goes to the tire shop, gets the greasy iron, and stages the crime.
It was a desperate, irrational calculation.
And unfortunately for her, she was wrong about the forgiveness. When the police finally told the husband, who rushed back thinking his family was in danger, he was devastated.
But it wasn't just about the cash, was it?
No. The source, Haraz, is very specific about this. The money was secondary. He could always earn more money. The real deal breaker was the breach of the sanctuary.
The fact that strange men had been in the house.
Exactly. While he was out on the road, sleeping in a truck cabin, working himself to the bone to build a future, she was hosting scammers. She let the wolves into the den. And then she lied to the police. She lied to him. The trust was just incinerated.
So he divorced her.
He declared she could no longer be his wife, right there. Despite her efforts to save the situation by paying everyone off, she lost her marriage, her home, her reputation. She ended up with absolutely nothing.
It's a tragedy on every single level.
It really is. And Karaz warns that while the mechanism here was a French company, today it might be crypto or liking posts on a social media scam or some AI trading bot. The coach or the director changes, but the psychology is identical.
It's the hunger for l'argent facile, easy money.
That's it. If you believe that wealth can come without work, you are already halfway to being a victim.
So bringing it all back, we started with a simple forensic puzzle grease on a window, but we ended up dissecting the very idea of trust.
It really makes you think about trust in the modern economy. We think we're so sophisticated, but this woman lost everything because she trusted a director in a suit and a fancy pitch over the basic math right in front of her face.
And she trusted that she could manufacture a lie, the robbery, to cover up the truth.
That's the other lesson, isn't it? The cover-up is usually what destroys you.
Right. If she had just confessed to the financial loss immediately, it would have been a crisis, a huge fight maybe. But by staging a crime, she involved the state, the police, forensic evidence. She turned a domestic problem into a legal and moral catastrophe.
It just suggests that no matter how much technology advances, our brain's desire to believe in a miracle cure for our finances yet remains our biggest vulnerability.
Absolutely. The hack isn't the window lock. The hack is hope. The hope that there's a shortcut.
That is a heavy thought to leave on. The hack is the hope.
It's true. Skepticism is your only real defense.
Well, on that note, to everyone listening, check your sources, do the math, and maybe don't borrow industrial tools to fix your domestic problems. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Stay safe.